And we got Phil LeBeau at the table, and he joins us right here with a very special guest with a lot of big news this morning.
As promised, Scott Kirby. Just a half hour after you guys announced this collaboration with JetBlue, we're going to talk about Newark. I know you guys have a ton of questions about Newark, but the deal with JetBlue, it's long been talked about. Everybody's known it was eventually going to happen. Why is it so important for United to have this greater access to JFK?
Well, it's two things for us. It's really a big program. It's all about our customers. It's a great program for our customers. JetBlue is, I think, an airline that has customer service in their DNA at their core, and a really good airline. And so a partnership with them makes a lot of sense. It also gets us back into not just into JFK. It gets us back into JFK with our own metal, but also with a partnership with JetBlue. But also, we'll be the largest airline in Boston. The two of us combined will be the largest airline in Boston now. We'll be big in the Florida and the Caribbean. So it's really complementary. Those are places that United's the biggest airline in the world, but we're not as big in those key geographies. And getting a partnership with JetBlue is great for our frequent flyers to really have the biggest.
I'm reading the release. I notice you guys do not say anything about asking the Department of Transportation for approval here.
Yeah.
And you know what happened. Everybody knows what happened between JetBlue and American and their Northeast Alliance, and it was deemed uncompetitive. Yeah. Are you going to ask the DOT for approval?
We are. It's not clear. This is because a deal like this has never been done before. It's not even a code share. And because of that, it's not clear we have to legally, but we're going to. We briefed them yesterday. This is such a pure kind of good customer benefit that, it's not like traditional deals. This is really good for JetBlue customers, good for United customers. Makes each airline more competitive with others.
Yeah, we heard that also about American and JetBlue in the past. But you're confident that, under the Trump administration, let's be clear here, they're not. There's very little chance of them saying, I don't know if this is competitive.
Well, I don't think it's about the administration as much as this really is a different kind of deal. That was a code share deal where they were managing capacity.
Right.
This is not about managing capacity. This is not even a code share deal. This is really about a frequent flyer deal that gives each of our frequent flyers access to a larger network.
But is it, just so I understand, there's the DOT, but then is there the FTC or the Department of Justice?
For us, it's the DOJ. They could, but again, this one is much more straightforward.
And in terms of pricing, though? So let's say I'm a United customer. I got a lot of miles on United, and then I want to buy a JetBlue ticket. I'm going to buy it through you. That's
you could,
right.
But the point is, because we're not code sharing, we're not pricing each other's flights. So you'd be buying at whatever JetBlue sets the price at. So you use your miles to buy there. We're also going to sell on each other's websites. So now you'll be able to go to United.com or use the app to buy a JetBlue flight if you wanted to fly from Boston to Orlando.
So the idea is it's more to make it more convenient for me just to plan around working either through JetBlue or through United.
Yeah, it's to give you more options. So if you're a frequent flyer that you want to use Newark as your home airport, but sometimes you want to fly out of JFK, it gives you more options, which we didn't have that option for customers. We're on both sides of the Hudson now.
Let's say you are. You're Ed at Delta this morning. Yeah. You're seeing this news. He's thinking what? Meaning, or flip it around. If he was doing this with somebody and the Department of Justice called them and said, hey, is this good or bad for business? They would say what?
Well, it'd be hard to argue it's bad for the customer. Delta's a really, really good airline. They've done a great job. In fact, a lot of what we've done at United has been copying some of the things that Delta did successfully. But their number one competitor, JetBlue's number one competitor is Delta. At JFK, Boston, and even in Florida and the Caribbean. And this makes JetBlue more competitive.
Because it makes them more competitive because they're going to get more traffic to their site.
Well, because now if you're a frequent flyer, you like JetBlue, but if you're flying out of New York, for example, JetBlue can get you all, Delta can get you all over the world.
And you get to capture the miles?
And JetBlue would get the miles. You could use them, though, to fly United. So you could earn on JetBlue and then just say, I want to take a vacation to Cape Town.
Right.
Use your miles to go to Cape Town.
So you're looking at a Newark United guy. Full on.
I would never go to JFK. I would never.
I'm a JFK guy.
And I'm
this
totally
is quite interesting.
Yeah.
With all of Newark's warts and whatever you want to call it,
But by the way, I love the Newark is. We can talk about it, but because the FAA is going to finally cap the capacity at Newark. Just same thing they do at JFK.
I think now's the time.
Newark is going to be the most reliable Newark. It is right now. The Memorial Day weekend was the best weekend we've had in our history.
That A terminal is pretty nice, although
it's very nice.
I prefer C.
Let's talk about Newark, because Secretary Duffy was out yesterday with an update saying, look, that the runway work may be finished sooner than June 15th. which means they could move up instead of, what is it capped at 28, they can move up to 34, but it's not going beyond that through October. The reality is it's the lack of air traffic controllers for that particular airport that are it's really going to limit growth for the foreseeable future. I mean, when do you realistically believe that you can go beyond 34, or do you sit there and say, well, now it's October, but come on, it's going to be like this for the next couple of years?
This is really the important point is at the 34 flights per hour, 34 arrivals, 34 departures, is going to be great for customers. You can now book with confidence. This is what we've wanted. Maybe the number inches up a little, but there's only one set of parallel runways at Newark. And even in perfect conditions, the theoretical max is about 38. And the problem with Newark has been when you schedule more than 38, that you wind up with delays that cascade through the days. And so this is the solution for Newark to be the most reliable of the New York airports.
Are you worried about the hangover effect? Look, I live in Chicago, and I hear from all of my friends, going to New York, like hell if I'm flying into Newark because I don't want to get, flight canceled or delayed. And I mean, it's hurt you guys in terms of traffic.
Yeah, it's been disappointing because first the safety issue, like the FAA has tower, TRACON, ground center. So there's 3 separate systems that can control flights. And if one of them goes down anywhere in the country, it doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's not unique to Newark. When it does, the other 2 back it up. Then we have a 4th system called TCAS on the airplanes. It's independent of those. So there's 4 backups for these systems. So the safety's always been high. So that was surprising to me. But the reliability point.
Isn't there a hangover effect where you might have people around the country who are saying, I'm going to New York, stay the heck away from Newark? And how long does that last?
Well, I hope it doesn't last long. We've already seen that the leisure traffic has come back. We did take a big hit, but the leisure traffic's come back. Business is lagging a little. But really, I mean, I think you just need to get people to try it. Because you look at it's going to be the most reliable. The fares are the best this year that they're probably ever going to be because we lost traffic. The least crowded airport now because the FAA has done. We've been asking for a decade for the FAA to manage capacity there.